An unusual square structure on Mars? What's up with that?
Back in February last year, you may remember the excitement when NASA successfully landed its Perseverance rover on Mars. Well, it's been busy for the last 15 months or so, doing plenty of roving. A recent NASA photo reveals an odd shape on Mars resembling a classic UFO, sparking discussions about a possible extraterrestrial presence. This discovery prompts inquiries into other inhabitants of the universe. The parachute has deployed, and we are seeing significant deceleration. It's a mission that began with a jaw-dropping descent, beaming back real footage of a Mars landing. NASA's documentation of this Mars anomaly triggered online debates, urging further exploration of this fascinating UFO sighting. About the Perseverance rover. In 2021, a robot car named Perseverance, also known as Percy, landed on Mars. This was not the regular remote-controlled car NASA used in previous missions. This car-sized rover was on a mission to find traces of tiny living things that might have lived on Mars many years ago. With top-notch gear, Percy had 7 amazing science tools, 19 cameras to take pictures, and even 2 microphones. The Mastcam Z, one of the coolest cameras on the rover, could capture high-definition close-up shots of the Martian terrain. NASA had an exclusive Twitter account for followers from everywhere to track Percy's voyage and share in the amazing views it was seeing. The Perseverance mission had a few important jobs. First, it had to search for spots on Mars that might have been good for life to exist a long time ago, like places with water. Then, it would look for any leftover signs of those tiny organisms. It also started collecting rock and soil samples to keep for later. After May 2022, Percy was supposed to climb up a hill to examine even more rocks and see if they held clues about ancient life. Then, as it rolled back down, it would collect even more rock samples to be picked up by future missions and brought back to Earth for closer inspection. As of today, Percy has been working hard on Mars for over 3 years, making amazing discoveries. The UFO sighting in Jezero crater. One of the most shared images on April 20, 2021, generated a tremendous sensation, particularly among the UFO-chasing community. The photo was a bird's-eye view of Jezero crater, the exploration site for the Perseverance rover. However, it was the dark spot in the background that everybody was staring at. The silhouette appeared to resemble a crashed UFO with Martian soil all around it. This exploration led to a vast number of theories, with the most frequent one being the crash of an alien UFO on the Red Planet. Before diving into the object found in Jezero crater, it is essential to understand the crater itself. What is Jezero crater? Jezero crater is an incredible 45-kilometer wide gash on the western side of a huge grounded area. This plain is situated north of the equator of Mars in a region called Ceres Major, which researchers believe may have contained water at some point in the past. Jezero crater is of particular interest to scientists because it was once flooded with water and may have been the cradle of an ancient river delta. Long ago, a giant meteorite slammed into Mars, leaving behind a massive crater about 1,200 kilometers wide. Later, another smaller meteorite crashed in the same area, creating Jezero crater inside the larger one. Scientists believe these crashes might have created conditions suitable for life. They have even found evidence of an ancient river flowing into the crater, forming a dried-up delta. The crater also contains clay, which only forms in the presence of water, making it a prime location for studying Mars's history and searching for past life. Because of its unique features, Jezero crater is a perfect place to study Mars's history and look for clues of tiny organisms that may have lived there. The Perseverance rover team found the crater so interesting that they even named locations after places on Earth they admired. For example, the spot where the rover landed was nicknamed Octavia E. Butler Landing after the famous science fiction writer. The mysterious object and speculations. The mysterious object found had a curved side, a raised edge, and a small dent in the middle. This unusual shape sparked excitement, with some people comparing it to a crashed flying object. The situation resembled the Roswell incident in 1947 in the USA. The shadowy object on Mars looked intriguing, leading people to wonder what it could be. Scientists, however, did not believe it was a spaceship from another planet. While the strange shape captured attention, it mostly reflected human curiosity about extraterrestrial life and the secrets of the universe. Some skeptics doubted the image, suggesting that it might be a rock with an unusual shape or even a camera glitch. They also pointed out that the rover had never seen anything like it before. NASA, the U.S. space agency running the rover, explained that the strange feature was merely a tiny piece of dust obstructing the camera. This dust created a shadow that looked like a dark spot in the picture. NASA confirmed that the shadow appeared in only one image and did not exist in other pictures taken from different angles. The way the rover captured images, by stitching together multiple smaller pictures, made it even harder to interpret the object. NASA clarified that space exploration is full of unknowns. Their main goal is to study rocks and find signs of ancient life on Mars, not to search for spaceships. In the end, NASA stated there was no real proof of aliens and the strange object was simply a misunderstanding. The importance of scientific reasoning. Even though NASA provided an explanation, figuring out what exists in space remains challenging. Distinguishing between natural space rocks and something artificial is difficult, especially on Mars or other planets. This is where science plays a crucial role. Scientists use special methods and rules to ensure they are interpreting findings correctly, particularly with exciting topics like UFOs and extraterrestrial life. Remember the so-called alien spaceship picture from Mars? It turned out to be a cool rock formation created by ancient volcanoes, not an alien craft. This rock is located in a massive area on Mars called the Medusae Fossae Formation, which appears like a sprawling splatter of volcanic material. Some people initially thought the way radio waves bounced around this region was unusual, but science confirmed that this behavior was typical for accumulated volcanic ash. Space exploration is filled with fascinating discoveries, but it is essential not to jump to conclusions. Just as with the so-called alien spaceship, many things that seem strange at first often turn out to be natural phenomena. For instance, some blurry images were mistaken for insects on Mars, but scientists later realized they were simply oddly shaped rocks. Even the stars visible in the night sky are more likely to be other planets or satellites than spaceships. Scientists rely on Occam's razor to analyze such situations. This principle suggests that the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. Rather than jumping to wild conclusions, we should stick to the most reasonable hypothesis. The scientific search for extraterrestrial life. The search for aliens is an exciting quest, but it must be conducted scientifically. Claims must be carefully examined, and we must avoid being swayed by enticing ideas or personal biases. Scientists use various methods to ensure they are on the right track. One crucial approach is comparing different ways of searching, such as using multiple telescopes or rovers. They also continuously update their knowledge of what they are looking for and how to detect it. Another essential scientific tool is the falsifiability principle, introduced by philosopher Karl Popper. This principle states that for a scientific theory to be valid, it must be possible to disprove it. If an idea cannot be tested or proven wrong, it does not qualify as scientific. For example, a claim that Earth is young and that fossils are fake cannot be disproven, as any counter-evidence could simply be dismissed as false. Likewise, if someone claims there are invisible aliens on Mars that cannot be detected, there is no way to test or disprove the claim. However, if a hypothesis states that we can detect aliens using rovers, then it becomes scientifically testable. This distinction is what separates science from mere speculation. In the grand scheme of space exploration, discoveries must be scrutinized with scientific rigor. While the search for extraterrestrial life is fascinating, it is critical to rely on proven methods and evidence rather than jumping to sensational conclusions.